lovely people. Nina here. Happy August. I feel like July was like 2 seconds long and now it's all of a sudden August. Because we are in a fresh new month and it's still technically summer, I still see August as summer. I have a whole set of August reads and some more summery reads, and I figured I would go through and talk about every book that I want to read in August. I have like quite a stack, but my goal when I like pick books that I want to read, it makes me less like indecisive and then less of like a reading slump, because I'm like, these are the books that I've said I'm going to read in August. I have to choose at least one from there. I have so many books that are on my like TBR, like physical TBR, that if I don't go through and like organize and pick out specific ones that I want to read, I just like cannot decide, and I'm really bad at making decisions. So I picked out a select few that I want to read. The first one that I'm currently going to start, I've had this for a while and I want to start it. I have said I wanted to read this because it's been like everyone's summer, like if you read one book this summer you should read this one, and I love Frederick Bachman's writing. I'm borrowing this from my younger sister. This is her copy and I have wanted to read this. The little like insert piece says, most people don't even notice them. Three tiny figures sitting at the end of a long pier in the corner of one of the most famous paintings in the world. Most people think it's just a depiction of a wide expanse of sea. But Louisa, soon to be 18 years old and an aspiring artist herself, knows otherwise. She is determined to find out the story behind these three enigmatic figures. More than 2 decades before, in a distant seaside town, a group of teenagers find refuge from their bruising home lives by spending long summer days on an abandoned pier, telling silly jokes, sharing secrets, committing small acts of rebellion. These lost souls find in each other a reason to get up every morning, a reason to dream, a reason to love. This sounds really good. And again, everyone has said that it's like a really amazing read, and so I'm excited. Frederick Backman's a Swedish author, if you didn't know, and so this has been out in Sweden for a while, but it just got translated into English, and so it's new in America, but it's been out, I feel like, for a bit. But yeah, I'm excited. So this is my current read. The next one I have, I'll just start at the top and go down, I guess, is Jaws. I have had this for a while. This one's beat up. I believe I got this at like a used book sale. I don't remember. But I had just recently watched the movie like a few weeks ago. And it's the 50th anniversary of the movie. And I've never read the book. And we were recently talking about it, and people are like, it's actually quite scary. So, I don't know. I feel like this is a classic that I should read. And I liked the movie. It was a little corny because, of course. But I'm excited to read the book. So, Jaws I'm going to put on my TBR list. I don't know if we'll get around to it. We'll see. But, yeah, I feel like I should read it, especially in summer, and it just feels like it's a classic. The next one I have is Ashley Poston's The 7-Year Slip. I've had this back and forth on different TBR lists. I love Ashley Poston's books. I think her writing is really fun. There's always some like magical element to them, which makes it really fun. This one is about a girl named Clementine, and she stays in her aunt's house, I believe. Yeah, she moves into her late aunt's apartment and finds a strange man standing in the kitchen, a man with kind eyes, a southern drawl, and a taste for lemon pies. Her well-laid plans begin to fall apart because he's the type of man who, before it all, she would have fallen head over heels, and she still might, except he exists in the past, 7 years in the past to be exact, and she quite literally lives 7 years in the future. So her books all have kind of like a magical element, but still like a romance book. They're really good. So I want to read this one at some point. I've heard it's really good. That's this one, 7 Year Slip. The next one I have is Sally Rooney. And Sally Rooney, I recently read. I had a hard time getting into her novels. I don't know what it was. I think I was just stuck. But I recently read Normal People because the audiobook came up available on my local library. And so I was like, well, I'll just give it a chance. And I had the physical book, and because everyone was like, I really like Sally Rooney, I really like Normal People, they had made it into a show, I wanted to see the show. So I read the book, listened to the audiobook of Normal People. I loved it. It made me cry. It was so sad. And I have Beautiful World, Where Are You?, which is one I've also had for a while on my TBR list. If you go back and like look at some of my past videos, you'll probably see this one and the 7 Year Slip pop up a few times because I keep saying that I'm going to read them and then just never get around to it and I end up reading something else. But after reading Normal People, I was like, I want to read another Sally Rooney book. So I have this one already. And this one is Alice, a novelist, meets Felix, who works in a warehouse, and asks him if he'd like to travel to Rome with her. In Dublin, her best friend, Eileen, is getting over a breakup and slips back into flirting with Simon, a man she has known since childhood. Alice, Felix, Eileen, and Simon are still young, but life's catching up to them. They desire each other, they delude each other, they get together, they break apart. And I just feel like this is going to be really sad, but also really good. So I think it's just basically about different friendships and relationships and traveling is kind of what I gathered. But if it's anything like Normal People, it's going to break me. So there's this one. I'm going to try to read this too this month. The next one I have is a newer one that I've gotten, and this is They Called Me a Lioness, and it's about a Palestinian activist named Ahed Tamimi. I hope I said that right. And her activism in Palestine. It says Ahed Tamimi is a world-renowned Palestinian activist born and raised in the small West Bank village of Nabi Saleh. I feel like I'm not pronouncing it this right. I'm trying my best. Which became the center of resistance to Israeli occupation when an illegal Jewish-only settlement blocked off its community spring. Tamimi came of age participating in nonviolent demonstrations against this action and the occupation at large. And then it's basically just a book on her like activism and her story, and I feel like this will be really good. I'm currently still finishing Salt Houses. I have a stack of books that are like half finished or like mostly finished, and then I just like read something else or someone's like, oh, you really have to read this, and so I like set it down. I'm like, I'll get back to this, and so I have a stack of books that are like partially finished that I need to finish. So maybe I'll fit those somewhere in August too. Salt Houses being among those. And I'm almost done with it. I just set it down and picked up other books, and my reading is kind of chaotic. But this one sounded really good, and I've seen this on, people talk about this on TikTok, and so I figured I would give this a read for August. It's not very long either, and again, Palestine needs our voices more than ever, so reading about Palestine and Palestinians I feel like is really important. And then the last one I have is Beach Read, and this is another Emily Henry book. I feel like the People We Meet on Vacation is the last one I read, and I really liked it. It was just like a simple beach type read. Nothing too crazy, just a little like rom-com type book. And so I'm gonna try to do Beach Read. I feel like this one's more summery. The Max's Augustus Everett is an acclaimed author of literary fiction. January Andrews writes best-selling romance. When she pens A Happily Ever After, he kills off his entire cast. They're polar opposites. In fact, the only thing they have in common is that for the next 3 months they're living in neighboring beach houses, broke and bogged down with writer's block. Then one hazy evening, one thing leads to another, and they strike a deal designed to force them out of their creative ruts. So this kind of just seems like a cute beach read, and I am excited because sometimes you just need something a little bit lighter and a little bit easier. So that's this. Oh, those are all the books that I plan on reading in August. Will this change? Yes, most likely, because I am, again, so indecisive. But I'll pick up. But this is like my more than likely going to read. I might read Tuve Jansson's book that I have. I don't see it on my shelf right now. I might read one of Tuve Jansson's books. I have a few of hers. I have a few Moomin books, but then I have a few of like her actual books about her life and stuff. So I might read one of those. We'll see. If I want to read like about people, if I want to read, I don't know. I sometimes really love reading like a memoir or biography, autobiography, and just learning about people or a place or something, which is why I read Al Pacino's book in July, because I just had really wanted to read like a memoir about someone. And so, yeah, we'll see. But right now, this is what I've picked for August. If you have any book suggestions for me, I would love your opinions or books down below, because I'm always looking for new things to read. And yeah, that is it for my August TBR. I will get back to you next week, and we'll see in a week from now what I'm reading, because who knows. So that is it for this week's video. I've kept and put links down below for Palestine and to raise awareness and to raise funds for Palestine. The PCRF is on the ground there, along with other places like Unicef, and so I put all their information down below, and we need to be amplifying this as much as possible and talking about it and not stop talking about it, because I can't sit and watch people being blatantly starved to death. It's just awful and inhumane, and is preventable. So I've put that all down below, where to contact your Congress and representatives and let them know that we don't agree with this. Yeah. So this is So this is everything for August. Let me know what you think down below. I will see you all next Friday with a brand new video. As always, free Palestine. Bye!